Hi everybody, this is Miss Kari and I'm back with this week's sensory activity. So for this week's sensory activity we're gonna make a goop, which is the mix of cornstarch and water. And also you can put some things in there for your child to look for inside the goop. But for this activity you either need a tablecloth that we have asked you to get or a towel, because it can get a little bit messy, this activity, so it's better if you have something underneath for your child. You're also gonna be needing cornstarch, some water. I chose buttons and rhinestones to add, and you're gonna need a container where you're gonna do the goop and a spoon. Now, so first you need a container and the cornstarch. I would advise to put like 4 or 5 spoons, but I'm gonna show you with 2 because I already made some goop ready before. So you're just gonna put the cornstarch, so preferably 4 spoons, and you're gonna add cool water, not cold water, not too hot, but you know, room temperature, little cooler. And you're gonna add a little bit. If your child is very willing to try the new textures and everything, you can ask them to mix this cornstarch and water right away with their hands as you're pouring a little bit water at a time. If not, then you'll be mixing with a spoon. So it's gonna be like liquidy as right before when you do your cooking, when you use the starch. So it's like this milky substance and maybe just a little dash. So it's gonna be looking like that. And I'm gonna add some buttons in here and some rhinestones. There's a little bead here. Now remember, if you have smaller kids at home, remember it needs to be a supervised activity, so that if there are smaller items in your goop for your child, then their younger siblings or themselves, they don't put these items in their mouth. And then I also want to remind everybody that before activities, the sensory activities, your child should be washing their hands before the activity as well as after the activity. Now this is a ready-made goop, so it doesn't really stick to the fingers. It's just milky and your child can feel the things. So my advice is to do it a little bit earlier before you give it to your child, and I'll show you why. So I have here a ready goop that I made earlier, and you see that there's like this transparent water. If I put my fingers you can still see, and then there's the starch is like stuck at the bottom of it, so the kids really need to, I don't know if you can see it dripping, but the kids really need to work on their hands to get these things out from there, the starch from the bottom. And the activity can be like they're looking for the things inside there. If you want to add a drop of food coloring to make it look different, but this week we are talking about color white, so I left our cornstarch, our goop here white, but you can add the colored buttons, rhinestones, if you have sequins. So kids love doing this activity. Now I'm doing it with one hand, but ask your child to dig in with both. And it's a fun activity. It's kind of good to go and for a treasure hunt. So, and the starch, it settles pretty easily, so after you do it in about half an hour your child should be able to already go and start digging at the bottom of the dish, trying to get all the starchy goop out. Okay, but just remember, your child should be washing their hands before coming to the activity and before and after his or she's finished with the activity. Okay. Also, if you storage this overnight, what you can do, I advise to keep this container open, not to close it, because this way it doesn't go smelling. And so that's this sensory activity for this week. Take care, bye.